seems that more and more people are becoming homeless these days. We can all probably guess why. The economy is not where it used to be. Can't even find jobs, right? Rental rates and mortgage rates are more than double than what they were, or extremely bad than what they were 10, 15 years ago. But guess what hasn't changed? Yeah, the pay rates, right? Your minimum wage. Nothing has really changed, but everything else seems to keep going up. Let's go ahead and dive into this video by Homestead Journey.
Officially homeless. I am lucky, don't get me wrong. I have a roof over my head, that caravan behind me. I'm at my sister's house. But I am officially homeless. Thanks to the rental crisis and the cost of living today, it's ridiculous.
So over the course of the night, I've been asked to give a backstory of how I became homeless out here in Broward County, Florida. So a little over a month ago, I was laid off from a family-owned company who was in business for about 14, 15 years. Business got slow and they ended up having to let some people go. I found out very, very quickly right after that, once I tried to hit the ground running, it's tough to find work out here, especially when you're applying for jobs online and trying to get callbacks. Now, fast forward, because since I don't own a car, I was able to pay my own bills, rent, roof over my head, cell phone bill, etc., gym membership. But all that kind of just dried up very quickly. I couldn't afford to pay my rent anymore because there was no money coming in. So therefore, I ended up having to sell all my belongings, pack up all the important things into a duffel bag and a backpack. And now that's how I'm now living on the streets. I live out of a backpack and I live out of a big duffel bag. Now, in order for me to, stay clean, use the bathroom, charge my phone, stuff like that, I do use a gym membership. That allows me to keep myself properly groomed and also to shower and be clean on a daily basis. Like just right now, I just left the gym because I just showered and cleaned up and everything. Because early this morning around 4 a.m., I helped a gentleman do some moving some furniture and packing up a big giant tractor trailer. And so I'm able to get a few bucks here and there. But ultimately, the goal is to get off the streets. Hotels cost a lot of money. Sometimes it is tough to get into shelters. But also, there are places I try to stay within a reasonable distance of the gym because I like to keep my duffel bag locked up there during the daytime so I don't have to tote that around all day. And then I grab it at the end of the night, and then I bring it with me to where I'm going to be for that evening.
Right.
But first off and second off, I just want to say thank you for all the comments and all the support. Really means a lot.
Ah, man, dude, this is a grown man, a grown person. Look, homelessness can happen to anybody at any time, man. And damn, this is very unfortunate. It seems like he seems like he was a worker. It seems like he has a good head on his shoulder. Luckily, he doesn't have like family or kids or anything that he has to worry about.
It's homelessness doesn't show discrimination. And I just want to say thank you. And I appreciate the support. I'm not giving up.
I'm homeless and I'm carless, but I do have a job, so follow along on this journey as we turn challenges into triumphs and save for another place to stay and another vehicle. Right now we're at the bus stop. It's currently raining and 50 degrees. 7:42, I'm just getting to work. The only bad thing about riding the bus sometimes is that I'm late, but I'm going to go ahead and clock in, bestie, and get to work, and then I'll check back on break. Finally made it on break. I ate a mini tuna sandwich. Now I'm just going to scroll a little bit and enjoy the weather. The day's been good so far, but I did have a moment earlier where I teared up a little bit. It was just like in the moment, like when somebody asks you if you're okay or if everything's good, and you just feel so overwhelmed and the tears just coming. And yeah, that's what happened. I'm doing better now. I'm just going to chill for the rest of my break, and then I'll check back. Just got off of work. It's 1:40. I'm currently sitting in the grass waiting for the bus. I think I have about like 15 minutes. And do feel like my shift went pretty well. Now I just need to go back to the hotel and kind of chill for a little bit. I think I might take a nap. My mind is just racing and I just need it to stop for a little bit. So I probably will take a nap, and then I work tonight at 6. Just got to the hotel room. I'm going to take the dogs out and see if we can find something to eat.
Here in America, you can literally work.
Hey, I mean, you got to work like 2 jobs. There's so many Americans working 2 jobs. Look, you're going to have to make those ends meet somehow. I know a lot of people are like, yeah, I don't want to do this job. I don't want to do that job. But those extra 20 hours going to somewhere else and making those ends meet, putting food on the table, having a roof over your head goes a long way.
Work a full-time job and then some and still be homeless. These jobs, the wages that these jobs offer don't pay enough to afford rent. You're lucky if you can even afford to rent from somebody anymore. It's like if you want to have a car to drive to and from work, you also got to think about like the gas prices going up. In a lot of areas here in America, gas has reached over $4 a gallon. And then you got to think about like food expenses, toiletry expenses, and then the money to, afford rent. Or say you rent a room from somebody. Even that's not really even cheap anymore. But just go get a better job, they say. Budget your money better, they say. Just pull yourself up by the bootstraps, they say. You cannot work your way out of corporate greed. You can't budget your way out of corporate greed. There's literally individuals out here making the most money that they've ever made in their life, and they're still struggling like hell to make ends meet. And I'm sick and tired of the stigma that people who don't want to participate in capitalism anymore just have a victim mentality, one that's necessarily not true. We're sick and tired of these low wages and the ungodly high cost of living. And honestly, it feels like it's the sanest response to quit participating in something that no longer serves you.
So I'm one of the many Americans struggling with homelessness. I live in a vehicle that was made in 1996. I
Damn.
live on the side of the road, and I live in parking lots from time to time. When I can, I stay at campground. But this was obviously not my first choice of living. At the time I became homeless, I was 22. My grandma had just passed away. I had applied to 6 different apartments, and I got denied at every place because I didn't have renter's history or credit yet. Because like I said, at the time I was 22, I never
Right.
rented before, and I never built credit. So after being denied multiple times, I did have to stay in motels, and my money was going fast.
Isn't it crazy that, the only way you can build credit is if you take like loans out and stuff like that, but the money that you pay for apartment complexes and stuff like that doesn't really build your credit, but it can hurt your credit. How can something hurt you but can't help you? Like, I wish there was a way to change that around. But some people use their credit cards to pay their rent and then therefore pay. There's workarounds. I get it.
On nights at motel. Plus, the motels weren't super clean or safe, and I have 2 cats. Well, I have 3 cats, but at the time when I first became homeless, I did have 2 cats. Now, the answer that you want, I have. You're wondering why they are doing this, and you're wondering why we are not fighting back. Slavery never stopped, it just evolved. The government requires you to be a slave to them in order to rent an apartment. You could have money. You could have, for example, $10,000 cash, but you still will not be able to get a place to live unless you have proof that you have been a slave to the system, pay stubs, bank statements, proof that you work a certain amount of hours. If you are not making money for the government, then they don't want you. They don't want to help you, and they see you as a burden. The system is set up for rich families. If I had a cosigner, I would be able to get a place to live, but I had no family or friends to cosign for me, so I've just been navigating this kind of by myself, and I spent my life savings on this vehicle so that I didn't have to sleep in my car or outside
Right.
in the park. But the government doesn't believe you guys will fight back, and they're trying to make you so tired that you won't fight back, or you will become so rageful and you won't think straight, so you'll get yourself in legal trouble, and then once you get locked away, you can legally be used as a slave. It says it in our amendments. When you get arrested, you can be used as a slave, like legally. It says it in our amendments in very little font.
Well, I don't know
So at the
about
end of the
that,
day, it's
but
all
we
about
have to
the
take a
elites
look at
using
that.
the middle class and the poor as their workhorses. I always try to tell people you will never get rich working a 9-to-5 job because the rich never got rich that way. The rich are telling you guys, go work a 9-to-5 job and you will be like us. But they really got their money from generational wealth, slavery, funding wars. The reason inflation happened and you guys need to be making more money for your rent and for your gas is because they're giving money to the wars, because the rich elites of our country make money by funding wars, by trading missiles and trading weapons and stuff. So that's why they need you guys to work extra hard for them right now, because you guys are helping funding the war. Meanwhile, many of you are getting angry, rageful, getting yourself in legal trouble because you're tired, you're exhausted. You're needing to depend more on healthcare because you're sick now and you're getting overworked. No humans should be working this much. Never in history have we before. The funniest thing is right now I'm homeless living on the side of the road, but I'm making more money than my grandma was or my grandparents, my mother, like back in the day. Their rent was like $300, but they're going to tell us that they worked just as hard as us and that we're the bums and we're lazy because they're not going to own up to the mess that they made. And they don't care anyways because they're not going to be on earth for much longer. So we're going to be the ones to deal with it, and then our children. But you guys just have to realize it's about slavery. It's about power and control. It's about feeding the elites, feeding the rich. They don't care what happens to you. They see you as ants. If you pass away, they will replace you with a new employee. They really don't care. You're just money. You make money for them, and they even say money doesn't exist. It's just meant to control you because they know money doesn't exist. They trade numbers. They do not trade money. Money is paper. It's a made-up thing to control the middle class and the poor so that you guys stay in your lane. So you can keep getting angry like this, but that's not going to do anything. You have to become brave. Stop depending on the government. They control you with fear because they think that you need them. They took away our human instincts, so you don't think you can hunt for food or make your own house, but you think you can make money to pay somebody to do it for you. And that's where they have you, because you don't know how to be self-sustainable anymore, and you need to rely and depend on them. When at the end of the day, we have trees we can go cut down and build our houses. We know how to build a fire. I grew up in a town where hunting is a thing every season. We hunt for deer and turkeys. But they have you fooled thinking that giving away $2,000 every 30 days is winning. When at the end of the day, not paying rent is winning, dude. I don't pay rent. Literally, I've never paid rent in my entire life. I tried, but they didn't want me to because I didn't qualify. So now I've been learning how to live in different ways without the government, and they hate me for that. But in these next couple of years, you're going to see van life, RVs, trailers all over the place because some people want to be free for the little time that we have on earth. We don't want to be working our young lives away for corporations that don't care about us. At the end of the day, people need to stop paying rent and fueling the rich and the elites, but that's not going to happen. So, you know, get it how you live it while you're on earth. Try to enjoy your time while you're here, and just try to wake up to the fact that money and material items really aren't all that.
According to the Department of
So I'm be honest, not paying rent is a dub. Is a dub. That video had over 500,000 likes. Just to let you know, like, not everybody likes the video, so that video must have went viral. But there's over 500,000 people that liked it because they heard that message, man. And it is powerful, man, because like she spitted so much great stuff on there. But just to go back to it, just like, you don't even qualify for this stuff. You right now, these young people, the young generation, they can't even qualify for rent. They can't qualify for this, but what? They're still chasing the dreams that go get in debt, go to school, find a job that doesn't exist based off a degree that probably is phased out 10 years ago, 5 years ago. And they get stuck with, RV, living in the car, still living at home, man. And you're going to see an increase in RV living, car living, U-Haul living, storage living. Like, it's going to be a thing eventually.
Housing. Homelessness is officially worse than during the global financial crisis, with baby boomers becoming homeless at the fastest rate since the Great Depression. And while individuals sleeping in vehicles have more than doubled since 2019, billionaire net worth rose by 81%, controlling more wealth than the bottom 90% combined. Raising the question, when did forced homelessness become the nation's business model? Despite the United States facing the most expensive housing market in history, with cities like San Francisco charging $700 a month for a 4-foot tall sleeping pod, the top 0.1% still controls enough wealth to purchase every home across the nation's 25 largest metro areas without going into debt, proving that what is framed as a housing shortage is actually a market that has been deliberately reshaped to extract as much value as possible from a basic human necessity, reinforcing the idea that you will own nothing and be forced to be happy about it. While the lead up to the 2008 financial crisis saw home prices more than double, median monthly rent only gradually increased alongside both inflation and income growth, allowing renters to spend around 25 to 30% of their income on housing and maintain a difficult but still achievable path towards home ownership, or at the very least, a stable way to keep a roof over one's head. However, as a result of tens of thousands of small and regional builders becoming bankrupt or absorbed during the recession, and institutional investors coming to dominate as much as 57 to 75% of single-family rentals in certain neighborhoods, both the construction and ownership sides of the housing market are now increasingly controlled by a small number of firms. Today, the top 10 builders capture nearly 45% of all new single-family home closings, the highest share ever recorded, with just two companies, D.R. Horton and Lenner, controlling well over 20% on their own. And while this level of concentration is already enough to influence pricing, supply, and development decisions, both of these companies have the same two primary shareholders: BlackRock and Vanguard. When including State Street, these three firms control over 25% of all voting shares in corporate America, giving them the ability to influence the price, quantity, and quality of the nation's housing supply, while concentrating both control and financial upside in the hands of the wealthiest individuals who own these assets. And while you may be thinking, shouldn't this benefit us all, as BlackRock is funded by pension plans and 401ks? Well, the reality is that the bottom half of Americans barely control 1% of all corporate equities and mutual fund shares, while the top 1% controls over half, and the top 0.01% alone controls over 10%, proving that when a select few shareholders essentially own the housing market, building affordable housing at scale is fundamentally not in the shareholders' best interest, making mass homelessness an accepted cost of doing business. According to research by Luis Quintero at Johns Hopkins, this level of concentration has allowed these firms to artificially reduce annual housing supply by roughly 150,000 units per year, or nearly 2.6 million homes since recession, while increasing price volatility by more than 50%, making luxury and higher margin projects the most profitable option for shareholder returns. According to Redfin, the luxury housing market has grown 3 times faster than the mainstream market, with only 6,700 lower cost rental units under construction compared to nearly 500,000 higher end apartments. At the same time, private equity-owned built-to-rent communities have risen 134% since 2019, representing the fastest-growing segment in residential development and accounting for roughly 8 to 15% of all single-family housing starts in the United States. And as the shift away from affordable housing continues, nearly half of all renters are now considered cost-burdened, with rent surpassing well over 30% of their income, while over 26% spend more than half, proving that what gets built is no longer determined by what people need to live, but by what generates the highest return, leaving a tiny share of the population to profit from a system that creates growing desperation among people with nowhere else to go.
I'm officially homeless as of next.
It does not surprise me. I read the article about BlackRock buying up a lot of single-family homes, controlling the market in a lot of ways in a lot of different cities. You might not feel it in your city, but trust me, they acquire so much property that they can pretty much. Hey, look, man, it's big bank take little bank at this point. They own so much that they determine the rental prices. They determine this, they determine that. That's the power of overgrown, buying the mass, having the mass. You get what I'm saying? Hey, look, I'm going to make all my let's just say 20,000 homes priced this way. As a smaller builder or a smaller company, and you own 2,000 versus their 20,000, and they're doing this, guess what? You're going to have to somewhat compete because they're setting the market. You're going to be losing out, right? And you have to keep up with that. All right. And therefore, you struggle as a smaller to get qualified people. You struggle to meet the qualifications that they meet because, hey, look, this and that. Well, and I'm just using that briefly, and I could be off a little bit, but you see what I mean.
Next week with my 3 daughters, my 2 dogs, and my 2 cars that I broke down. Yay. Let me explain. One of my cars won't start, and my other car, I got into a car accident over the weekend. I actually wrecked into somebody, and my whole front end's ripped off. Brakes are running down the rotors, hanging on for dear life. I've been struggling to find a work for the last year and a half. It's why I vanished on TikTok, because I couldn't keep up financially. I just couldn't even afford anything at the point. Like, my world just started crumbling and declining as time went on, and I just keep wasting my time with these companies saying they're hiring, and I put my application in 30, 50 times, going for interviews, and they see my hair color and automatically don't want me to work. I was in customer service for 10 years. I know how to talk to people. I know how to de-escalate situations. I don't understand why I keep getting denied customer service positions. I will also lose my assistance with food because I will be homeless, on top of getting a security deposit, which is usually $1,000. And most places are asking last month's rent too, which is probably about $1,300. I have to get both of my dogs registered as emotional support animals so I don't end up losing my dogs that I love to death. I also have to get my cat registered as an emotional support animal because I'm not losing her either. Y'all, please tell me I am not, like, I started going to church and I found God, and like I started being more spiritual. I feel like my life just completely went to crap. Like, just went completely downhill after I started going to church. And I don't understand if it's because I'm getting closer to God or if like I'm just having shit ball luck. Like, I'm at a breaking point. Life has humbled me in ways like I've already lost so much in my life. If you know, you know.
They want to be a homeless, man. That's all I got to my name. Just a little bit of bag. No car. I'm at a gas station. A random ass gas station. Is it right though? You know, I got faith. I'll be alright. At least I'm on unemployment right now. You know, at least I get a little couple dollars a week. You know, looking forward to that. Maybe I could find a cheap place or something for the night. Well, maybe not tonight, but maybe another night. You know, just a shower and stuff. But yeah, they want to be homeless, man. Let's see how this goes.
Have you guys ever been homeless? Because
man.
I hadn't until 2 days ago when I got kicked out of my parents' house. I only have a part-time job and it makes me $600 every 2 weeks. And I am about to graduate college on Friday. So anyway, I just want to show you guys around my car, and hopefully you guys can stick around to see my journey and see me reach my goal of getting my own apartment and being able to live on my own happily. So let me show you guys my car. That is my humble abode today. Her name is Pink Whitney because everything in here is pink. I have these little balls in here, and then all my seats are pink, and then I have my computer here, obviously, because I still got to do homework and apply to jobs and all of that good stuff. I have my pantuflas right there for comfort, you know. And then my cat is at my boyfriend's house, but I have her food right here. I have my sweater. I have a blanket, my pillow. This is gonna be like my shower stuff. I have my comb and then a few clothes for after. I have my white hamper over there for dirty clothes, and then my 2 suitcases with the rest of my clothes. So yeah, this is gonna be so fun. It's been nothing but tears the last 2 days, and I think that it is time for me to do something about my situation. So I have been applying to jobs nonstop. I am about to go into my part-time job in about half an hour, so I'm just sitting in the parking lot. And yeah, that's about it.
Day one. We are now homeless. I am a single mom of 2 girls, post-divorce at 45. And we've been renting a house after relocating to the suburbs of Chicago. After 3.5 years, the owners decided to sell, and I have been looking for a new place to live for the last couple of months. I recently did a post on Facebook about how quick your life can unravel, and like, my mom asked me, how did you let this happen? It's really not very hard. I divorced a narcissist, which is probably the most difficult process you can go through. It took 3 years, over $150,000. And I don't want to say I lost everything because I got my kid and that was the only thing that mattered. But I didn't get assets. I didn't get any financial stability. Actually, quite the opposite. I got all of our joint debt. I got very little child support. I ate it all just to be done and just to be free. And that's fine with me. I can rebuild and I can come back from this. So that's how we got here. Everybody knows the prices of everything are skyrocketing. I have been, I don't want to say struggling, but it's been hard to rebuild, my business. I started a new business. I'm sure that will be blamed for, where I am now, but that was all the right thing to do. I've found my voice, I found my passion. I now share openly, which is causing a lot of issues with my family. So I didn't get an offer to stay with anyone in my family, and that's very discouraging. I'm staying with a friend who has graciously opened up his home to a struggling single mom of 2 girls. Big heart. Thank you so much. It was funny yesterday when I was frantically cleaning the house and getting all the last loads taken care of. I found this piece of paper that I used to keep by my bedside, and I kept it in my pocket all day yesterday. And it said, one day you will share your story. It will be someone else's roadmap. And, I first started talking about my personal story in conjunction with Lingerie Briefs and their online magazine, and it was published last October. That was difficult. That's when, a lot of rifts started happening. Those are family secrets. You're not supposed to let them out, and I did. I would say that started a lot of this. So, sorry, this is hard. It was really interesting yesterday, too, because I get a lot of support from friends and people that are watching my journey, but I didn't get so much reach outs I guess I didn't get the type of reach outs that I was expecting yesterday. Support. I hear you got this all the time, right? I got calls for help from other people that were either experiencing the same issues, they were in the same position, or I got asked to help other domestic violence victims. So I know I need to keep going. I need to keep doing this. I'm on the right path, and this is an interesting journey. And I don't know where it's going to lead, and I know that should be terrifying, but we're just trying to stay positive. This is a new chapter, new adventures. We'll get through this. We do have applications in, and we're waiting to hear if we have a new place to live. So now it's just a waiting game. This is a tough transition, but I'm sure it's necessary. So I'm going to try to do better about posting. I've been shy and nervous about sharing publicly, but I think yesterday just proved that it can be inspirational at the same time. So I will do my best.
I just woke up.
Man, look, not even that, man. You got to face homelessness on your own with 2 kids. You wrap in a divorce. That's also extra heavy, man. It almost seems like you can't win.
Up and just picked up a closing shift today, so spend the morning with me before I go to work. As a homeless 28-year-old in Montana living at a campsite with my friend and our dogs. He is so ready to get out of this car. Can I hook you up, buddy? Don't go too far. All cleaned up in there. Nice. Just took a dab, so let's go. Oh, Fifi! Oh. Off to the bathhouse. Now we're at work until like 8, so wish me a good day. More like wish me a better day, because today has already not been it. So if you know, you know. It's gonna be better from here though, only up from here.
My name's Brooke, and this is how I became homeless. I can't believe this many people responded to this video, so I'm going to try and just do it in one straight shot and make it as clear and concise as I possibly can. So my name is Brooke. I'm 31 years old. I am a homeless disabled veteran, and I joined the Navy when I was 17 years old to escape an abusive, toxic household. A little bit of backstory there. My mom and I did not have a good relationship. I no longer speak to her anymore. And the woman that my dad was married to when I was younger tried to kill me multiple times. So like I said, I joined the Navy to try and make a go of my adult life myself. So I joined the Navy. 3 months after I joined the Navy, I get raped by a Marine while 3 of his friends are watching. I pushed through my enlistment as much as I possibly can. I ended up meeting somebody, and I ended up getting married. I get out of the military. He gets out of the military. I help him, and my parents help him move back to Tennessee so we can start a new life out there, because that's where he was born. 2 months after that, he breaks up with me with $200 to my name and tells me to leave. So what do? I leave. I move all the way back from Tennessee to California with $200 to my name. At that point, I had only had small jobs. I had worked at a sushi restaurant. I had worked at Walmart or Walgreens and Target. And so now I needed to come back and figure out something with more substantial income. I was living with my mom, unfortunately, and it was really mentally tough. I ended up getting a job with the state of California, but at the exact same time, I was trying to go through my disability process. And when you're going through the disability process and you have an MST, they make you go in very specific detail on why exactly everything is affecting you so harshly. So in 2019, when I was going through that process, I mentally snapped to the point where I almost jumped off the roof of the building that I worked at. I was on Lexapro at the time, so I stopped taking Lexapro. I ended up quitting that job because it was so mentally taxing, and I was scared of what I was going to do to myself. So I ended up quitting that job, and unfortunately that exact same day, my roommate decided that she was no longer going to live in the house that we were living in, and she did not tell me that. So that basically drained my entire savings. After that, I moved in with somebody else, and we were in a relationship for a little bit, and I did not get along with that person. We just politically did not align. So I ended up breaking up with them, and I had a job at a dispensary at the time. The dispensary that I worked at I was there for a couple of months until they let me go for reasons that really did not make any sense at all. I would name drop them, but their business got closed down like a few months after, so karma. Anyways, after I got fired from that job, my boyfriend got let go from his. And so we were living off of my disability at the time and his little bit of savings. And then he got offered a job out in Michigan. And in order to take that job in Michigan, we had to leave within a month. And we had to basically leave everything that we ever had and take whatever little things that we could afford to take with us from California to Michigan to work at this company called Peachy Hash & Co. And my boyfriend was going to be the, basically the manager of a plant farm. And about a month after he started there, the dude ended up firing him without cause. And we had just moved to Michigan. We had just drained our savings. We had just gotten rid of everything that we had ever owned, ever had, to do this opportunity because this guy, Aaron, convinced my boyfriend so much so that this job was going to change our lives and we were going to finally be okay. And so we took the chance, move out to Michigan, and no other jobs are hiring to the point of where we are going to have enough money to be able to stay in our home. At that point, we are paying $1,600 a month in rent, $300+ for gas, electric, internet, all these things, and I only make $2,200 a month. And so we very quickly realized that we are not going to be able to afford to stay in an actual house at all anytime soon. And so I sucked up my pride and I asked my dad for a little bit of money to buy an RV that I thought was going to be okay. And unfortunately, that RV sucks. The propane tank doesn't work. The generator doesn't work. There's a lot of issues with it. It's a 1993 Damon Intruder motorhome. So that's what we are currently in until our situation changes. And I used to be ashamed of it. I used to be ashamed of my story, but I'm actually genuinely really proud of myself for going through all of these things and still waking up every day and trying.
Man, that is tough and crazy. You're not alone. There's so many other people that get through these very bad work stories, relationship stories. It's crazy because you're a vet. You know, I don't know your whole vet process. You know, some people are in it for 20 years and really have disabilities. Some people can go in there and get a disability after months in training. Those sort of things, you know. So everybody's disability is different, but I just feel like all that leading up to where you're at, you cannot be ashamed, man. That's just kind of like who you are, you know, and it can only get better as you keep working. And this is tough for a lot of people that are struggling to find just affordable housing. So all these clips just to say how bad affordable housing is right now for so many people, and then young people at that. These aren't really just well, I can't even say young people. These are different ages. We started off with the guy, right? Looks like he was in his 40s. You know, we're ending up with this lady, like she's in her late 20s, maybe early 30s. Like, it can happen to almost anybody. You know, day one, day two of homelessness is always the toughest, man, because you just don't know. You have to sit there and accept life for what it is. But for you guys that are watching, don't give up, man. Keep hustling, keep fighting. You know, we all gonna have to band together eventually. Shit. Hopefully, affordable houses, some regulation gets passed down, man. I don't think it's happening any soon, but damn. Y'all like the video, comment, and I'll see you on the next one.